Welcome back to Refine the Podcast, episode 14. We're here with all of our...
I'm going to tell you, man.
These guys are goofballs.
They are goofy.
They're gonna make fun of us. They're nervous as all get out. We're gonna keep it rolling too. But anyways, we've got the guys from FES, our Friday night Bible study that we talk about frequently. Flesh versus Spirit. We're super stoked to talk about why we believe in God tonight.
Yeah, that's the question of the night. Why we believe in God. We're gonna kind of dive into it because we don't have much time. We have so many people here, but we're excited to hear from multiple different perspectives of people. I think everyone's going to have something different to share. We could probably do this podcast and record it for, goodness, 5-6 hours.
For sure.
So we're going to try to combine it all in a span of an hour and 20. Let's hope. But if we got to do a part 2, we'll do a part 2. It's going to be good stuff. So we're excited.
Most definitely. So I'll hop on into it and go ahead and start. But I'd written something I think like last week. So the reason why we're doing this for the most part, just a quick recap since mine's short, but for our Friday night group, I wanted to do why we believe in God as a message and have that discussion. So we just decided to grab a couple guys and do it here. And what I had wrote was, and this is just a Facebook post, but it says, "Why do I believe in God? I believe in God because He has graciously revealed His truth to me. I've seen families reunited and cancer disappear. I've seen healing and reconciliation. I've seen addiction go away. I've been part of all of it, and God has revealed His goodness to me in all these ways. God has been so forgiving of my trespasses and given me the strength to endure trials and to have the confidence to start a Bible study group. God has used me in ways I am so undeserving of. He works through me. My testimony is God's truth, and my life reveals who He is. I believe in God because of the spiritual relationship I have with Him. He is more than real and more than willing to reveal Himself if we ask and obey. I've submitted to Christ. Now that I have given myself over to Him and He has shown Himself, I can't deny Him. I believe in God because the Word of God is living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing to the division of soul and spirit, of joints and of marrow, and discerning the thoughts and intentions of the heart." That's Hebrews 4:12. He has brought others together through me. He has done miraculous things through me. I know God is real because God speaks through me, gives me peace and joy when I ask and am faithful and are faithful. Since I have trusted Christ, Christ has trusted me to walk out my faith as a vessel, and I've felt and seen His wonder. Yeah, I was sitting in my room just thinking about that one night. Like I was just pondering on His goodness and how good He is to me. And in my opinion, obviously it can be a very in-depth, I guess conversation or answer. But my answer is simple. It's how good He's been to me. And I'm able to share that through my testimony with other people. From the beginning, I said I've seen families reunited. My parents, they split up for a good while, and I prayed and I stood firm in that, and I believed that my parents would reunite, and I was right because God's faithful and God answers prayers. My grandfather, we just prayed for him before we started, but he had stage 4 cancer. They said it was incurable and that he didn't have long, or at least we could assume that he didn't have long, due to it could not be treated. We prayed healing over him. We laid hands on him, just like the Bible tells us to. Healed. So I've seen healing. I've prayed for people, and God's worked through me and used me. And you just can't deny. Like, you absolutely cannot deny God when He's working in and through you in your life at all. So yeah, like I said, mine's short and sweet. But it's all about testimony to me, personal experience, and what I've witnessed. And people can deny that all they want, but you can't deny it because God's good and His goodness always reigns. Yeah. So that's it for
One
me.
of my favorite quotes from you is, "God is good, so let's start living like it."
Yeah.
Love it's that, true. Dude, because it is. And I think that we don't dwell on His goodness enough. I love the fact that you said you were just sitting back and just dwelling on His goodness, because we don't dwell on it enough like we should.
Right.
So that's
He
good
is
stuff,
Jehovah
man.
Rapha. He heals. He is Elohim. He's the creator of absolutely everything. And we sometimes think He's not capable of anything. I mean, I believe in the God who's capable of everything. And I believe in him, like I said, because he has just been so willing to show me his goodness. But notice how I said, when I'm faithful, when I believe, when I trust, and when I hope in him, that's when his goodness is truly revealed to me. So for those who don't believe in God, and they're probably, there might be some people who's watching on the other side of the screen right now thinking, like, I clicked on this video because it says, why do you believe in God? And they truly want to know an answer. The answer is simple. Ask the Holy Spirit and receive. Yeah. But most people don't want to give God the chance because they know that their life that they're currently living, it dissipates. There's nothing left of it. Again, you move on from the old ways and you move into the new life. People don't want to move into the new life, and that's it. But you give him a chance, I promise you, he won't. What's the word for it?
Disappoint.
He won't disappoint.
Sure won't
at all.
You'll lose many things in your life.
Yep.
You will die to yourself, and you will die to this world. But man, it's so much better, dude. So much more joy and peace that you have. Man, it's good. He's good. So Logan took an approach testimony, and I don't know what everybody. We haven't really talked about it. I've been so excited. I don't normally take notes for the podcast, and I haven't in a while. But I took some notes for tonight because one main reason why I believe is because I'm me personally, and for those that know me, I'm a big I like to dive deep into stuff, and I like to look in it. Science. I like to look at stuff in a logical way. I want to see facts. I want to see visual evidence. Obviously we cannot see, taste, smell, or, hear God, in the flesh. We can't. Right. We can hear his spirit, but so it's some people are like, well, science doesn't prove, God. Science, is completely against God and everything that he stands for. So, it's not true actually. And that's one of the big reasons why I truthfully believe in God is because everything that scientists have seen, have found, have proven, it points to a creator. So first point, and I wrote down this stuff because I wanted to be exact on it. I didn't want you guys to be looking this stuff up and fact checking me and I said something wrong just because I botched it on the podcast. So matter demands a maker. It's the first point. So every physical effect must have a cause that came before it or is simultaneous to it and greater than it. Richard Dawkins, who many of you guys who might be watching this might know who it is. You might not. He's a very famous atheist, one of the most famous atheists in the world. He does all kinds of debates and stuff. You can look him up. He has a quote that says, "Common sense does not allow you to get something from nothing." It's from an atheist who doesn't believe in God. So matter is not eternal and cannot create itself from nothing. So something outside of the material realm, the material world that we live in, had to bring it into existence. Matter, everything, us in this room, this table, water bottle, that computer, everything that is in this room and around us in the world, it came from something that had to bring it into existence. It came from a creator. Second point, life demands a life giver. So every scientist, whether you're atheist, not atheist, every person in the world, we can all agree that life does not just spontaneously just happen. It doesn't just come from nothing. It doesn't just generate. You have to mate. You have to reproduce. It's a whole cycle. As we learned about it in school all the time. Yep. It's a whole cycle. So life doesn't just come from nothing. Life always arises from previous existing life of its own kind. Therefore, a supernatural, intelligent mind must have created living things. So, for many of you guys, you might think of the Big Bang Theory. And I didn't know if I was going to talk about this tonight, but I guess I am because I think I have time. The Big Bang Theory, we just assume something came from nothing. Well, it did. I believe in the Big Bang Theory. I really do. Now, whether or not I don't believe in the scientific, they believe in it, where it was trillions of years ago or whatever. But if you read the word in Genesis just from the get-go, it talks about there was darkness, and then God said, "Let there be light." There was an expanse in the heavens. I'm pretty sure that had to have been pretty a big event. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just this nice little I just feel like that was a big event. So regardless, Big Bang Theory, whatever, if you believe in it or not, whatever. But if you look at another piece of evidence that I always like to look at, if you look at Noah's Ark and the flood. So a lot of people are like, that did not happen. There's no way this happened. So actually, there are marine fossils. So marine stands for like fish, stuff that lives in the water. Marine fossils in most rock layers exposed in the Grand Canyon. So that's in Arizona, right? Grand Canyon is over 2,950 feet above sea level. Mm-hmm. So a mile, I believe, is what, 3,500 feet? 5,000. Is it 5,000? Yeah. So well, I'm completely off them, but I mean that's half a mile. I mean you're over like half a mile up above sea level in Arizona. I mean it ain't like we're just right near an ocean either. There are fossils all in the walls in Arizona. There are massive fossil graveyards of billions of marine fossils all over the world and just regular animal fossils. And when I say graveyards, I'm talking like you go to one spot and there are hundreds of thousands of fossils in this one spot, like in this one little close proximity. The only way that happens, and scientists have done all kinds of research on it, they've been confused about it. They determined that the only way this happens, and the only way this could have taken place, is if a massive and powerful movement of water moved and killed and buried the animals, fish, and insects all at the same time. It's the only way it would have happened. It's crazy to think about. And also Mount Everest, if you go on Mount Everest, there are marine fossils on the top of Mount Everest as well. You're looking at Mount Everest. How many miles above sea level is that? How many? It's the tallest mountain. I should have wrote it down. But there's marine fossils on the top of Mount Everest. It just makes you think and makes you wonder. That's why to me it's like that. That's why whenever we ask the question, why do you believe in God? That was the approach I wanted to take on it, because a lot of people don't talk about this stuff because they're like, oh, the Noah's Ark just happened, but they don't explain the evidence of how it happened.
Right.
And also, I encourage you guys, if you're watching this, and if you guys are sitting here and you haven't ever looked this up, we actually talked about Noah's Ark last night at youth group. But if you look up Noah's Ark on Mount Ariat, it's like the boot, kind of like the Ariat brand boot. They actually found the ark, like the resting place of the ark in Turkey. You can look it up, look at the pictures. It's really cool to look at. I was also doing some research today. There's a story, I believe it's Acts 28, when Paul had a shipwreck. It says in the Bible exactly where the shipwreck happened. It's off the island of Malta. Yep, it's Malta. Off the island of Malta. They found the anchor of the boat. And they pulled it up. I mean, it's up. Like the Pope was looking at it. I saw a picture when I was looking it up. The Pope was looking at the anchor. It's pretty cool stuff. So that's just some different scientific stuff to think about. Last couple points I got. This is the main one to me. So design demands a designer. So we have 30 trillion cells in our body. Just think about that. That's correct. 30 trillion cells in our body. That's absurd. And that doesn't just come from nothing. Right. There's no way that comes from nothing. There's no way we're sitting here talking, breathing, just from a snap of a finger, of just coming from, it just doesn't work like that. There has to be a designer who designed our bodies. Our digestive system's like over 20 feet long. And if something goes wrong in our digestive system, it hurts. It messes us up. So someone had to design that digestive system to work in a certain way. There's so many different ways the digestive system works, so many different functions of it. Trees provide oxygen. If I was a creator, I would not think that trees, like that wouldn't be my choice. I would just think there's oxygen just floating around. Trees provide oxygen. To me, that's like wild. Someone had to design that. To me, this one is the one that just kind of does it into me. Earth. Like, the Earth is perfectly far enough away for there to be life on this planet. Like, if we're any closer to the sun, like, we're burning up. If we're any farther away, we're freezing to death. The Earth is perfectly set in motion, and tilted just to the right degree to where there's life on this planet. You cannot tell me that just happened without someone putting it there. This is why I'm like, ooh, I get like excited about this stuff, because there's no way. And then lastly, this is big stuff, and I'm sorry, I might be boring a lot of you guys, but intelligence demands an intelligent creator. So we all know, we learn from our ancestors learn from their ancestors, so on and so forth. So who the first people on Earth, first people that had life, like, who did they learn from? Where did their intelligence come from? If they came from nothing, who did they? Come to your house. So there had to be an intelligent creator who put that intelligence into them when they were created.
That part right there is the best, in my opinion. Because, I mean, what's the point in school if we can just teach ourselves? If we taught ourselves from the beginning.
Well,
Unless someone just made all this stuff up and calculus is just a bunch of junk.
Literally.
Yeah, I mean.
And so, I mean, there's so many more things that I could like dive into, but like that's just some of the evidence that I've seen that stood out to me of why I believe in God. Now, obviously, my personal testimony, the Lord's done a mighty work in my life, completely changed my life around. And I could talk about that all night. And you guys have heard most of that. That's why I kind of wanted to take this approach. Last thing I would say is that random chance doesn't produce precision. So the earth just randomly forming doesn't produce all the precise things, doesn't produce the birds knowing when to migrate. Like, how do ducks know when to fly and migrate in the certain seasons? That doesn't just happen.
Right.
There had to be intelligence put into those birds. Us knowing how to breathe, like our lungs knowing, our heart pumping blood to the rest of our body, that just doesn't happen by random chance. Like our bodies to me are the biggest evidence for God, in my opinion. But we're made in His image, so.
Yeah, and I wanted to elaborate just a tad bit on that because you think about Jesus. I mean, even the smartest of scientists say that, like, there's no denial, and historians say there's no denial that there was a man named Jesus who was a rabbi who walked this earth at some point in time. So if you can't deny the science behind Jesus and that Jesus was a man who walked this earth, this is where faith comes into play. This is why Christianity is based on faith, and it's not based on I do, or, like I accept him, blah, 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 move on, live your life. It's based on faith and hope in who that is. So you have to give him that opportunity. Once you give him that chance and accept him, but truly accept, he says more times in the Bible, follow me, than anything. But it's because he says, you can accept me and accept my word and accept who I am, but people don't follow him. Until you follow him and you pick up that cross, then that's when you can truly witness who Christ is for you. And then you can get on a podcast and explain to people why you believe in God easily because you've seen that.
Yeah. One more thing I did want to add, since I think I have a couple more minutes, but one more thing. I was looking into this, and you can look it up too. But I mean, you read your Bible and you can know this. But the backbone of our faith is based on the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's our backbone of our faith. If that didn't happen, then we're sitting in this room for nothing. The backbone of our faith is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Well, who were the first two people, or the first people that saw Jesus when he was resurrected? They were women. So if you look back into that time period, and I mean, you guys know history, you guys know world history and stuff. I don't have to explain it to you, but women didn't have power then, and women didn't have a voice. People didn't believe stuff that women were saying. So to me, that's a big, substantial evidence of Jesus Christ resurrecting, because it isn't like someone just wrote the Bible and just made this stuff up, because if they did, it wouldn't have been a woman that saw the resurrection happen. It would have been a man that saw that. It would have been a leader, someone with some power that had more trust. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it being women who were the first people who saw Jesus resurrected, to me, that's substantial evidence that Jesus is who he says he is, and Jesus did resurrect from the dead. But y'all can look into that. It's a lot of this stuff I'm getting from the Case for Christ, the book and the movie. But yeah, so
sweet.
It's a lot. Sorry.
Well,
I think it felt like I just had a brain aneurysm or something. I just exploded. I've been excited about this.
That was really good. Very informational. And at the end of the day, also anybody can get into scientific battles and arguments and debates and whatever, but nobody can deny faith. Nobody can deny our experience and our testimony. So that's what we stand on at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right. So next up, our brother Isaiah Jordan. He's going to introduce himself a little bit, and then he's going to explain why he believes in God.
I am Isaiah Jordan, and it has been over a year that I have been with Wesley and Logan, a part of the college group and Flesh versus Spirit. It's been a beautiful, awesome year. I've learned a lot about fellowship and brotherhood, serving, humility. It's, like I said, it's been a great honor. And I have found a lot of joy in Christ with these men. But to start off with, why do I believe in God? You know, logic and science, those things are amazing. They bring out the facts, they point everything out, and it's very important. Evidence out there is great. The world, everything. And that is good. But it wasn't good enough for me. I didn't focus on that. I was not moved by facts and logic. It has its place. It's very important. But it didn't move me. I didn't become humble and look to God until I met the end of myself, until I was brought low. Before I became a Christian, I had come to a place of honor. I was in the military. I was in a place of honor, of structure, and pride. And especially pride was my downfall. And I still struggle with it today. But as I fell from honor into dishonor, and eventually, after suffering from my own choices, I came to the end of myself, like I said. And that is where I finally got a glimpse of who God is. It was there when I was a monster, and I saw that. When I recognized that I was wrong, and I understood that I was in sin. But it was the fact, the truth that God still loved me in that. He still loved me, and he wanted me, a monster, a criminal. He wanted me. Yeah. And that is baffling. That was beyond my comprehension until I started to really read his word. And I began to understand that, it's not because of me. It's not because of what I've done or what I do, but it is because of who he is that I am noticed. A breath in the time of this existence is what I am, is what we are, and he cherishes that breath.
Yeah.
To the fullest. To the fullest.
Good.
That's incredible.
And that is when everything changed, is understanding that he wanted me. Somebody wanted me. A monster wanted me to be someone, to be Christ, just like him. The highest of honor, to be a servant, to lay down my life. Not the highest honor in the world standards, but the highest honor in God's standards, to be a servant. So, bros.
Yo, Isaiah very formally saying bros.
So good, dude. It's so good.
That's why I believe.
That's good. That's so good. Recognizing yourself, who he's created you to be.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so good.
And he gave you an opportunity.
Yes, he did.
He shouldn't have gave me an opportunity. I'm guilty as charged, but he has washed both of us clean, apparently, and all of these guys that are here.
Amen. Shout out Christ.
He is
Amen.
good.
He is good.
So awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, come sit down, man. Yeah. Doing the Cupid shuffle right quick. Little Cupid shuffle. No Cupid, no.
So shout out. That was Isaiah once again. If y'all weren't paying attention, but he Isaiah's been in my life. I think over about a year and a half now, maybe more than that at this point, maybe 2 years. It's been a long time actually, and I got to know him through a Wednesday night men's group, and he's just been one of my brothers ever since. So it's always awesome growing together and watching that transformation. And I know that he's seen a transformation in me. And I mean, you have too, in him and myself, vice versa, and all of us. But that's the great part about brotherhood and community is we're steadily watching each other grow.
Yep.
And why we believe in God is coming alive in each of our lives.
Yeah, and Isaiah too, and he won't ever say this, and I'm not trying to boost his head or nothing. But he's one of the best servants I've ever met.
Selfless.
Very selfless man. Just a good dude. So we love you, brother, back there.
Yes, we do.
Now we have a new brother.
We do have a new brother. We do.
New brother in Christ. My man, Paxton Pruitt. What you got for us, man?
Well, I've had the pleasure of being asked to join this group. Logan reached out to me about 2 months ago and asked if I wanted to join a group, and I got to be honest, I've never been more grateful for something to happen in my life, because I was depressed during that time, and I was going to touch on it at the end, but I'm going to touch on it now. I didn't know what to say, honestly, when I was preparing for this, and then I thought about two things. I'm just going to talk about people, and I'm going to talk about events that have happened in my life. And the first event I'll talk about is Logan reaching out to me. Something I've always struggled with is self-confidence, and a couple of months ago, I was at a low point, and there's no other way to say it. Logan, you saved me, brother. I appreciate it. God is good.
Lord.
God
is
did.
good. God is good. But something else I want to touch on with some just people in general. I saw this TikTok today, and I just had no idea what I wanted to talk about, and this is weird, but I'm saying it anyway. We're getting vulnerable here. I was fixing to get in the shower, and I was scrolling through TikTok, and this TikTok popped up, and it was talking about just people you've encountered in your life, and it said you have people in your life for a reason, people for a season, and people for a lifetime. And so basically, just that's a huge reason I think we all believe in God. It's just because we encounter so many people in our lives. And so just, I mean, for a reason, I mean, whether it's a past relationship or something, I've always struggled with, I'm a people pleaser. And I've wanted those people to stay in my life, whether it was for a reason or a season. And I've always questioned God, like, why are you taking these people out of my life? I meant, like, it's not like we ended on bad terms or anything, but, we grow apart. But then something hit me not too long ago, and I realized that they're there for a reason and a season, obviously. They are placed in your life by God during a specific time because He's written all our stories already. And so getting to the people that are in my life for a lifetime, I just want to mention a couple of people. Y'all, obviously, I met Logan a couple of years ago at a party, but we have not crossed paths since then. Praise God. But, and a long time ago when we were in like junior high, me and Wesley did some stuff together for basketball, and we didn't cross paths since then. But I am so grateful that we are crossing paths again, and I'm learning so much stuff from y'all, and I hope we continue to grow together. And all these guys sitting behind me and everyone else in the group that isn't here tonight, I just want to thank you guys for pushing me, helping me to be better in my relationship with Christ. So I appreciate y'all, boys.
Of course.
Another reason I believe in God is I want to mention 2 specific people in my life. My dad. I've never met. Nobody's perfect, obviously, but I've never had anyone in my life like my dad that I want to push every single day to be just like 25% of the man he is for God. And I hope that people see that in me. I hope y'all see that in me. I hope anybody I encounter sees that in me. And another person I want to mention is my grandmother. She unfortunately left this world back in 2016 from a cerebral hemorrhage, which is like a brain bleed, basically. That is a literal angel sent from above to this earth. Every single Sunday, she wanted me to sit right beside her so that I would pay attention in church. And another reason is she had a bag of candy, but we're not going to get into that. But God is good. But she, for y'all know this, I told y'all, my family is like 20 people, and if you're ever at Cracker Barrel, we're that loud group of people at a table together. But just those 2 people, I am not the person I am today without those 2 people, and I'm so grateful for them. But yeah, I feel like that's basically it. That's all I gotta say. So.
That's good. I love it. No, man. I mean, I don't think I do. I mean, it's like I said from the beginning. It's honestly simple. Like it's one of the simplest yet most difficult questions someone can answer. Why they believe in God, but it's a conversation. Like you can go on for days as to why. I mean, when Paxton just ended it with, "Yeah, I think that's about it." That's him basically politely saying, "All right, I'm going to cut it off before I go in on my testimony and everything else that's part of it," because like you can just talk for days about.
I think that I think something to point out from what you talked about. I think, and if for those of you guys who watched the last episode of the podcast, I think it ties in perfect. But just how important it is to be that example in your family, because obviously his grandmother and his dad had a big impact on his faith. Now, obviously, Paxton has his own faith, but they played a big part in being the example of Christ that he strives to be one day.
Right.
And I think that that's important to notice and important for us to take away, all of us in this room and everyone watching, that everything we do, we're watched. So it is important for us to be that example wherever we are. This guy back here, Braxton back here, we prayed for him earlier, and we prayed for him earlier. He asked for just strength to just be an influence at his school. And to me, Braxton, I look up to Braxton. He's younger than me. So it doesn't matter how young you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. Start being that example now, because it can make a big difference on somebody's life.
Yeah.
Period. So good stuff, Paxton.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. I'm happy to know you, man.
Oh yeah, me too. And for those who don't know, Paxton, the reason why we had I guess came into contact the second time, like I just was sending random DMs out to people on Instagram, and I was like, I know him from somewhere. I know him. And then obviously he comes to Bible study, and then we start talking. He's like, yeah, you were at that party that we met, one time back in high school. This is the BC days. I was like, man, I don't remember that party. And he's like, I bet you didn't. So, no, I'm just messing. But yeah, it's great how you come back together. It is because of Jesus.
What did you think? What did you think like when you came to group the first time? I think that's a good question. Like when you walked up, you're like, man, what? Like on the way, I mean, you obviously had to make a decision. Like, hey, I'm gonna go tonight. Like, what was your decision?
I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous just because. Of course, when you're trying something new, you're gonna be nervous. Yeah. But I knew y'all two were there, and that just gave me, it calmed me enough to where I consider myself an extrovert, but when it comes to meeting new people, I'd still get pretty nervous. But I knew y'all were there, so I was just going to catch up with y'all, and then I'm not afraid to meet new people. So
yeah, that's awesome. In my head, I was thinking like it's funny because, I'm supposed to be leading this group and stuff, and I'm thinking, man, he only knows the old me, and so I was awkward when you walked up. I was like, hey man, what's up? Kind of ashamed, like.
No,
man.
I wasn't thinking about that at all.
Born again in Christ.
Yeah, together. Alrighty. Do you know who's next? Zane's next. Who's Zane? Thomas. Come on, Thomas.
All right. I'm gonna tell you guys, we this dude that is about to walk up here is one of the goofiest
If
dudes.
you couldn't tell, he's probably making faces in the back and stuff. Like,
I've been hearing him like chuckle in my ear the whole time. But he
and it's irritating the heck out of you.
I know. It's irritating me.
It is.
But I love you though. But my man Thomas, he's pumped to be here. This man, what did you say? What did you say in the group meet whenever I texted?
Year, man.
Yeah, he said that made my year when we texted him. So he was excited to come on here and tell us, why he believes in God. So, Thomas,
floor's yours, buddy.
Floor's yours, man. You're in the hot seat, brother.
Nervous. Well, for those of y'all who don't know me, I am Thomas Ross. My dad is Gabe Ross, the pastor of our church at Life Point. So my whole life, I've kind of just been in church, grown up, went to Christian school, couldn't leave, get away from the Lord. So that's my main reason I believe in Him, because I have no reason not to. But the ultimate reason is because, where do I look? Like, just the camera? No. Okay. I don't know where to look. I don't know what to do. But mainly the reason I believe in God is because I'm here today. Because if you don't know me and my story, I'm adopted from Ukraine. I get lots of jokes from these dudes, but it's all funny. It is, but I am adopted from Ukraine. And so if I hadn't been adopted when I was adopted, I would probably not be here where I am today. So because of that, every day I'm alive is a shout out to the Lord, because I would not be here otherwise without His divine intervention of Gabe and Melissa Ross coming into my life and taking me back over to America. So I guess the main reason I believe in Him starts the first day I was here in America, because ever since then my life was, I was given a second chance physically. Yeah. And then I guess spiritually also, when I guess first grade I was 7 when I accepted the Lord in my heart. So that's a double whammy. Kind of had a physical salvation and a spiritual salvation. So I mean, it's about it. You can't get better than that. Right. Every day I'm alive. Woohoo! So that's about it. It's not very much, but.
So I do got follow-up questions, because I knew that you'd be this short on it, because I knew you were so excited that you would only do a minute. Yeah. So I was ready.
My fault.
I'm excited to ask, because I feel we just went to a lot of us in here went to a banquet for Save a Life, yeah. And the band, who was amazing, it's the Jolly String Quartet. They were all adopted from Russia. Yeah. So they told, their mom came on stage and told some of their story. So I would like for Thomas, if you feel comfortable, just to kind of share some details, because I know you said you were adopted, but just kind of share some details of really how much of a divine intervention it was.
Well, I was a year and a half when I was adopted, so I don't remember much of the adoption process. But I've been told stories. I was a crazy kid back then, crazy kid now. I haven't changed much in that sense. But honestly, though, if I hadn't been adopted when I was adopted, I would either be on the streets stealing for food, or I would be in the army fighting the war and probably be dead. So I'd either be in and out of prison or 6 feet under. So because of that right there is the Lord's intervention. He saved me from death in that sense, and then saved me from eternal death by sending His Son in Christ to die on the cross so many years ago. So literally by sending Gabe and Lisa Ross over there to get me, I would literally sent guardian angels over to bring me out of death and give me a second chance of life.
So my question is, obviously you've aired this out to us, and you touched up a little bit on, like, in the beginning, obviously by default you were Christian, but you would agree with me more than likely, not saying that you weren't Christian, but you didn't actually start experiencing true Christianity and experience having friends and brothers who love Jesus and run after Him until probably this recent
I'd say
year,
this last summer, yeah.
Yeah. So elaborate on that, if you will, just a little bit.
So also part of my story. So since I grew up in a Christian home, dad was a pastor, grew up in a Christian school at Heritage. I literally was surrounded by Jesus Christ 24/7, and I eventually got tired of it. But not only that, because of the way my school was, like, everybody was there as a Christian, so like they followed Christ, but they weren't exactly a Christ follover. Come on. So like that became my view of Christianity, was you can live for the world and live for Christ, because they'd go 5 days a week, go to school, pray every day, do the thing what they need to do, go to church Sundays, go to Wednesday night groups. The weekends, though, they do whatever heck they want. And I was like, okay, this is fine. They're doing just fine in their faith. Why can't I do the same thing? So that was my faith for 17 years of my life until this last November when I joined your group. Was it? Yeah. November when I joined his group. Yeah. I was a little iffy on that group. I'm not going to lie. I was like, because my view of Christianity was tainted. I was like, well, this is what Christians are. They're fake. They're fake people. So I joined his group. I was like, okay, these people are going to be fake too. They're going to talk about go praising the Lord, praying for everybody, doing whatever they need to do. Go on Monday, they're just gonna go do whatever they're going to drink, party, do whatever I want. No, I was dead wrong. For 3 months straight, he'll even tell you this, I did not say a word in that group. Not a word.
Thomas literally sat and he just listened. I didn't know he was listening, though, because he just did not say a word. I'm not kidding, for 3 months, but he was there every time faithfully.
Yep.
And you just sat back and was just observing and just listening. I think you were really trying to discern.
I was taking notes on what I was doing.
Yeah. I think really you were trying to discern whether or not we were real or not. Whether or not me and the people who were coming were true literal Christians, like they were not hypocrites, which you had a bad experience.
I was testing the waters. That was what I was doing, and lo and behold, it worked out, because I eventually was like, well, these people are. After 3 months, I was like, okay, I can actually talk to these people, because they're this is what actually Christianity is, not Sunday faith, but Monday through Friday faith. So, I mean, that's what really got me going. I was like, okay, so I thought you can either have fun or you can be a Christian and hate your life. But no, that's cap. You can do both. These dudes will show you that easily. They're good. They're the biggest goofballs I've ever met, and I've loved every minute of it ever since. It's been tough at times, but it's fun nonetheless. And then I guess like beach camp was what really set me going, and then ever since then I just haven't looked back.
That was this year.
Oh yeah,
Summer. Yeah.
God, that was good.
That was real good. So yeah, I mean that was great. I love your story, but I more importantly, like more than anything, love the fact that you just explained. That's why I wanted you to talk about, being around Christians your entire life, Christian school, all this and that, people living hypocritically. But when you actually start living for Jesus in a fun way, because it is fun, like you start living free, not like you're bound by chains, like you're not bound to the law by no means. You just walk out faith because God's good and you trust Him. Like it becomes natural. But I would never be where I am without these guys, and you probably wouldn't be where you're at without us either.
Anywhere near it.
Like you have to have community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got to.
1,000%.
Oh yes.
For sure.
Let me see that thing.
Gosh.
So community for me, like I know without a shadow of a doubt, if I were to all of a sudden be like a hypocrite, they would call me out on it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I know without a shadow of a doubt, if I stopped reading my word and I stopped pursuing the Lord, and then I showed up on a Sunday and tried to lead a Bible study, they would know.
Oh yeah.
They would know without a shadow of a doubt, and they would call me out on it. So like it's important. Obviously you should have that desire in your own heart to pursue the Lord, but it sure does help when you get a kick from kick in the butt from your brothers. So
Accountability, baby.
that accountability. Yes, Well, Thomas,
I think that's it.
we love you, brother. We're thankful for you, man.
Love you, man.
Good
Thank you
stuff.
for having me here.
Of course, man. We'll have you on again.
Woohoo.
Have everybody on again at some point. All right.
Brexton.
The young buck. The young buck.
Big dog in the house.
You should hit the gritty.
The young buck. So we needed to have some young representation in the house tonight.
Yeah.
So Logan, and you can explain this better than I can, but Logan, whenever he started Flesh versus Spirit, he kept an open door to younger men. And it's been great, and there's other younger men as well in the group that come that are not 18 to that 25 range or whatever. But Braxton right here, this is my guy. But how old are you, Braxton?
15.
So you're 15.
Yeah.
So let's just think about this for a second, everyone listening, right? He's 15 years old. He could be anywhere right now, but he's in here with a bunch of older dudes talking about the Lord on a Thursday night. So
I got a test tomorrow,
it's cool.
too.
Yep. So Braxton, you got the floor, brother. Why do you believe in God?
All right. Well, I mean, there's no denying that he's real. Coming after all of y'all, like, you've proved the science part, accountability, everybody who he puts in your life, like who and what their place is. And then Thomas saying, like, the view of Christianity, people get a tainted view of Christians because of how they act. And not everybody's a true Christian. They say they are, but, like, they're not. And, I mean, that's just straight up facts. Like, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out. Like, in Revelation, it says, if you are lukewarm, I will spit you out. Yep. But I believe in God because of his grace and what he does. I mean, I slip and fall all the time. We all do. Well, none of us are perfect. Jesus was the only perfect man in the world to ever walk the world. But no matter, because he died on the cross for us, I think I can't comprehend that he would give up his own life, 33 years, a carpenter, and give his life, make his own cross, carry his own cross to die for us so that we can, like, go up there and live with him and hang and chill. You know? Like, it's insane. And just the fact that you can slip up, you can fall, you can go into a spiritual rut and just stay there for months and months. He will get you back out of there, and you're gonna have to put in work to get out of that rut. But he will be right there with you, even when you're at your lowest low. He is with you, and he is guiding you, and he just shows that in so many ways, with surrounding you with all these people who care for you and help you, and you build off of each other with that group of accountability partners. I mean, really, that's what it is. That group me is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. I don't text in it much, but I love reading it because the things y'all say just build me up. Like, just reading some of y'all's stories and hearing some of what y'all said tonight, like, it's insane, the people that he puts in your life and what they do for you and how they do it for you, you know? And then just his works. I mean, it's insane what he does for you, giving you, like Thomas said, he came from overseas, adopted. It fully changed his life, you know? And you can come from nothing, and as soon as you start following him, you're the king of the world. You're with him. You are not below him. You are at the same as Jesus. Well, not like that, but like, you know,
with him.
yes, like you are
Co-heirs.
yes.
Christ.
That's just amazing that you can live and be with Christ, the righteous man of the world who gave his life to save you. You can be with him and follow him, and he will save you from everything. You'll live eternal with him. eternity. Like, if this water bottle is this yours? Yeah. If this water bottle is your entire life, eternity, you're not even the size of this little cap. Like, I just think it's insane. I'm going off my spiel, but and why I believe in God. I got to repeat that question. It's such a deep question. Like, it's like a rabbit hole. You go in there and there's boom, so many answers. And that's the thing I love is everybody has their own interpretation of this question because everybody's gone through different experiences and different trials that God has given them and overcame them in different ways that everybody can answer this differently, but everybody has that same feeling and love for Christ and they want to live it out. And like, that's what I said, like Wesley mentioned, I asked to be an influence in kids at my school's life because I want to tell, I want to share. And another thing with his works is the I can't even explain it. The feeling you get when you're living with Christ and you share him is unexplainable. Like, you can't explain it. Like, I've never felt anything in my life. Like, I'm 15 years old, yeah, but like, I think this is the best thing that's ever going to happen to me my entire life. And me and Thomas, during that beach camp, we went out on the beach and prayed for some people. I was on fire. Like, it was lit. It was lit. Nothing like it before. And I'm a social guy, yeah, but I can, like, talking about spiritual things, like right now, I'm not uncomfortable, but I was so nervous back there. Y'all saw me giggling with Thomas. Like, I was on the edge. I couldn't sit still. But just the things and ways he works through you. Like, I never thought I would be in front of this camera talking about my relationship with Jesus Christ. I thought, like I grew up in a Baptist church. My idea of Christianity was grow up, go to church, come Sunday night, go Wednesday, sing in the choir, and then become an old guy in the church, become a deacon, and just fade away. But no, I want to make a mark with Jesus, and he works with you to allow that to happen because you yourself cannot make that happen. We all have insecurities, uncomfortabilities, but he takes those away. When I went and prayed on the beach with Thomas, everything left my mind. It was only him and the person who I was praying for, and that they're okay, and I know they're going to be okay because Jesus will take care of them. And it's just insane, man. It's lit. Like, I was talking to Thomas back there, and I said, "Pop out with Christ, baby." Yeah. Shout out. But man, it's insane. Like, I can't even fathom God. I can't. I believe in him, but like, I don't. Oh man, I'm getting like dumbfounded now.
He's just that good.
I know.
It's recognizing his goodness and glory, which you've done.
I didn't even write any of this down. He's speaking through me right now. I mean, like I said, he works in mysterious ways.
He sure does.
But yeah, he's awesome.
I've seen you grow exponentially. Golly, I can't even talk. I'm just going to say a lot. Exponentially. I have seen you grow a ton since I first met you. And seriously, Braxton has just been on fire. And it's funny how you see someone young at that age, and it brought me back to when I was in youth. And even younger at 13 years old and even younger than that. But the flame that was lit, and it didn't stay lit, or it did, but I covered it for a while. Yeah. And what's great about Braxton is he vocalizes and he comes and participates and he surrounds himself with older guys when he could be out with friends right now. He could be doing whatever he wanted to. Instead, he is on a podcast with us, and he is sharing his story with Jesus, or his story about Jesus and why he believes in him. I just think it's amazing. So props to you, dude. Keep doing what you're doing. So yeah, I'm super proud of you.
Thank you. I'm 15. I can't drive. I had to ask my mama to be here. So I'm just happy the Lord let that happen. Yeah. All right. You're welcome. Thank you.
Exponentially.
All right.
Exponentially.
Exponentially.
I'm gonna hate myself for that one later.
Dude, I'm sitting here on this couch right now. My stomach is absolutely rumbling.
My knee is locked up.
I might eat that water
Tendinitis.
bottle.
What, that one?
Thinking about it, I might crumble up a piece of paper and eat it.
Oh, you're hungry.
Oh, I'm starving.
I'm starving. Look at
I might eat my computer.
I gotta pee.
So we've got the goofball here. We've got Mr. Zane Henderson in the house once again. Recurring guest on Refine the Podcast. He's back. And he is going to answer the question, why do you believe in God?
All right. Well, definitely after all of that, I've been sitting back there and when y'all first asked me about this, why do I believe in God? I was like, I had a kind of like an encounter with it one day this week, and I was like, and then I just told the gospel and used the analogy through that, but I was like, dang, I overcomplicated it. I was as simple as that, and all day I've been like, I don't know what the crap I'm going to talk about, and then I'm sitting back here, I'm listening to y'all, I was like, Zane, I was like, you got in your head, you know what I'm saying? You got in your head, and here you are overthinking everything. I was like, man, just talk about what God's done in your life. So, I'm just going to share, like a brief part of my testimony, and then just kind of run through it like that. But the year 2020, man, like everybody says that was like, oh, that's the worst year of my life. COVID hit, blah blah blah. I'm gonna tell you now, that is the year that I truly found out who the Lord was for me. Growing up, things wasn't all rainbows or sunny skies, rainbow, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't all that. There was the world showed a lot of ugly things at an early age. And so with that being said, like I used to go to church with family, this, that, and another, but going all the way up to, like I said, when I was 20 years old, I never truly had a relationship with the Lord. Like I knew who He was, but I didn't know who He was for me. And at the beginning of the year, work was getting super, super hard. And like we talked about how the things that we do have an effect on people. The way I was at work, I was carrying that home, and it was affecting my household that I was there with my brother, my sister, and my mom. Like the way I treated them, all the way down to I had a friend of mine, man, super, super close. We did everything together. He got off on things that I knew I was next up on, and I did not want to be in that situation. And so I was like, I just got to be a change. Something's got to give. And so one day I'm sitting at work, and I'm like at the lowest point in my life. It felt like I've been out, I've been partying, I've been doing anything and everything under the sun to try to fulfill myself. And I'm like, man, like I was like, something's got to give. None of this is working. I was like, I'm truly gonna like reach out to God. And I was like, I don't know. When I was sitting in my truck, I remember this day, I didn't even know what to say. Like I was just so emotional that like He knew what I was saying, but I wasn't saying it, if that makes sense. Yeah. And man, I'm sitting in my truck at work, and it was so crazy because we're at lunch and nobody else is out in the parking lot that day. It was so weird. Everybody always takes lunch, like God works in mysterious ways. And when I got done praying, man, it felt like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders. Now, has it been an easy walk? Absolutely not. Like, no, we didn't build an ark overnight, so I didn't change overnight. And that consistency over time is what equals maturity. Like Braxton's saying, man, like I never thought in a million years that, here it is, a year and a half into my walk with the Lord, and God used me this summer to meet like 1,000 or 11,000 people. Like the impact that we can have of being obedient and seeing that true life change. Like when we're truly at our lowest point, we're gassed out. Like we can't do it no more. It's so cool because that's the exact point where God can truly do His work and truly fulfill you, because you're not able to. Like when you try to rely on yourself, you're weak in the flesh. You'll fail every time, but it's the Lord who strengthened us through that. And we're like, dang, we let God down. We didn't let God down. He's holding us up the whole time, So it's we overcomplicate this, and I'm sitting here and I'm just like I said today, I was like, I was like, man, what am I going to say? And it's just a simple fact, like he's saying, you get so overwhelmed with so many different things. Like we talked about cancer. Craziest night, I'll never forget this. Me and my buddy, we just got done playing baseball against each other. We're riding down the road, hanging out for the game. He said, man, I got this spot that came up on my chest. He's like, I don't know what it is. I don't want to tell nobody about it. Man, I literally did like this, and it was a knot. I'm talking about like a hard knot. And that was on a Saturday night. Monday morning, he went to the doctor. They said he had a softball size of cancer in his chest. Missed his whole senior year. But, like, God worked through him and defeated that. And, like, man, like, it would, you know what I'm saying? Right there above your heart, you know, a softball size of cancer. And it was so cool how they was able to catch it so quickly. And, like, you know, here he is. He's a walking testimony. You know, we go hunting and everything together. I've seen another dude that was literally on his deathbed with cancer. We all started praying, like you said before. Immediately going, like, dude came back to the hospital the next week, and they said, we don't know where the cancer went. Like,
it just real quick, it's funny because, like, my grandfather, like, he was like, I'm healed. I know I'm healed. Like, you know, there's no need to go back to the hospital. We were all saying, you know, there's no need to go back to the hospital. And my grandfather was like, oh, heck no. Like, I'm going and I'm telling them all about Jesus. Like,
right,
what you mean?
You know what I'm saying? It is like, there was a time at camp, like I said, referring to like the point where we're completely like empty. And I've said this once before, but I'll say it again. Like that was the hardest week at camp, like hands down. Like I get emotional even thinking about it now. But like I had a bunch of stuff going on back home, super, super heavy stuff. And then camp was hard that week. And I remember like I was so emotional, I couldn't even pray. Like I couldn't worship. I go down to the altar and I'm bald face crying at the altar and I'm just like giving it all to God. And I remember, like I said, coming back and God telling me to stop. And I was like, man, I don't know what it is. And there was a boy that came up to me and he was like, I feel like I'm called in ministry. And we got to talk. And it's so amazing because like when I was growing up, I didn't have an older role model that I could look up to. So there's trial and error with everything that I did. And it came to a point one time, my mom told me, she said, the way you treat your siblings is she really referring to my sister back in 2020. And this is another reason, like, I knew I had to change to be the leader that I'm called to be. Because my mom told me, she said, the way you talk to your sister, the way you treat your sister is the way that you're preparing her for another man to treat her. And when I tell you that cut me like a knife, I was like, I've got to be that change. I've got to be the change in the world that I want to see. And it all starts with us getting out of our comfort zones and maybe going to a small group. Like, it was crazy how God lined it up. I finally give it up to him about, like, the friends I needed to hang out with. Like, there was a stage of like 2 weeks, man. Like I didn't have anybody. I was just chilling. I was like, God. I was like, I know you're in control. Like I know you're gonna provide friends. You said, hey man, I think I hit you up. And I was like, you wanna go eat? And he said, we'll just start a small group. You wanna come check us out? And when I tell you, like, I was like, all right, man. I'll pull up. You know, I try to be goofy, but then I'm kind of like just chilling like this. You know, trying to scope everybody out. You know, and I was like. But shoot, I mean, like, y'all are some of the guys now that I can look and be like, all right, 20 years from now, like, all right, I need to go pick up my kid from school. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it. So it's been really cool. Like I said, we could sit here for hours, and but it is. God's so good. I've seen so many different things happen in my life that I know that I'm not in control of. Like, I always say this, you know, we don't know what the day holds, but we know who has created that day. We know who the creator of it all is. So at the end of the day, if God has created you and he created heavens and earth and did that so perfectly, then how do you think he's done it with you? Like, you're perfectly made. Like, you was talking about all our intestines and stuff. It's not that, hey, this was a thrown together idea. Like, no, God took his time with us. We're here for a purpose. So regardless of the position, there's a purpose for it. And regardless, you know, if we're in a season of waiting, like trust the process. God's working in that, and so I don't know. I will get heated up. I'm gonna start running.
Oh,
so.
you're good. You're good. We're actually probably I'd say perfect timing. We're a good bit ahead than what we thought we were going to be. Actually, I think everybody did around 7 minutes apiece. Nonetheless, as like you were talking, like as everybody was talking in my head, I was thinking of this the entire time. But why I truly believe in God is when life gets bad, I have peace. That is the true reason. So that's what sets us apart from the rest of the world.
Love.
Is we have peace. But we're imperfect people. So on a real note, for those watching, I don't have peace all the time, but that's my fault. That's not God's fault. It is 100% ours. We can have peace in the middle of the storm if we let go and let God have it. That's why I believe.
Yeah.
That's good.
So one thing that I was thinking of whenever everybody was talking, and I guess we kind of have to end, I guess, but I saw this today. We make, whether we know it or not, we make 35,000 decisions a day. When you think about that, that is absolutely wild. We make 35,000 decisions a day. So this is my challenge. You know, we make those 35,000 decisions. So what decisions are you making? You know, are we making decisions that further our relationship with Christ? Are we making decisions that help build a brother or a sister up in Christ? Or are we making decisions for our own, fleshly desires? That's kind of it hit me today. I was like, wow, that is a lot of decisions. There's a lot of decisions that I'm making a lot of decisions that are not honoring Christ. So I had to do kind of a self checkup on myself, but
that's good.
I don't know who needed to hear that. I just felt like led to share that, but, I think it's cool just seeing how, everybody's story is just different and everybody has different reasons why they believe. And we could sit here for hours and hours and hours. But we all have the same thing in common. The Lord is good.
All the time.
God sent his son down to earth in a manger. He didn't send him in flashy clothing, didn't send him in flashy jewelry. Jesus was without a home his whole life. He sent his son down here on earth, born in a manger, no home, carpenter, just a regular guy. Sent him down here, lived a perfect, sinless life, died a humiliating death on a cross, all for the sole fact of he wanted a relationship with us.
He so loved the world.
He loves us, man, and that's just period. And he loves everybody in this room. He loves everybody watching this. He loves the whole world. Even those who don't choose him, he loves them.
Yeah.
So that's real, man. As Zane always says, that's real.
That's real.
So, any final words, anybody?
Pop out with Christ.
Braxton says, "Pop out with Christ." Y'all look up Caleb Gordon if you're looking to
out.
get some Christian rap. Look up Caleb Gordon. I'll shout the man out.
Fun alternatives.
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, being a Christian isn't. I mean, come on now. We're not some stuck up. Like, we have fun.
Yeah.
If you like rap music, look up Caleb Gordon seriously, because he's got a flow for Playboy Cardi, Lil Uzi, all those demon worshiping psychos. I'm telling you, but he's got flow for everybody. So look him up. As
Hey,
always,
bro, if you need a playlist, comment. We'll send you a playlist.
We will.
'Cause it's heat.
it is heat.
Yeah.
But as always, we appreciate everyone tuning in. We will continue to pray for you guys. If you need specific prayer requests, you know where to find us. Comments, we'll always plug the Instagram. You can shoot us a DM. And as for all of these guys here, we love each other and we're brothers. We look out for each other and we hold each other accountable. But you have to be patient with God, because these guys didn't come around when I wanted them to. It took a long time and it was a process, but I'm thankful for them. I know that Wesley's thankful for them. That's my 2 cents.
Very, very thankful for everybody in here. Very thankful for the other people who are not in this room as well.
Right.
We are going to have part 2, possibly part 3. That way we can give everybody a chance to, have a voice and be able to explain why they believe in God.
Yep.
So we're looking forward to that in the future. Last words, you got anything?
No, that's it.
We love you guys. We will see you guys back again the next time.